Muted.
All right, so sorry for a little bit of a technical issue there, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. It looks like most of us have made it. So we're gonna start by introducing ourselves. You can't see this, but to my right is Sarah.
Hi everyone, Sarah Steinberg, super excited. I'm staffing with Andrew the June trip. Looking forward to meeting everyone.
And to my left is Ariel Ventura.
Hello, my name's Ariel, and I am staffing the July trip with Zachary, who is unable to make it today, but we're really excited.
Great, and I think Zach is on the web conference right now. So I hope you are all very excited about your trip. We're going to make this really as quick as possible, and we're going to make it informational as possible. And okay, let's get started. So since the launch of the program 16 years ago, over 500,000 Jewish young adults from all over the world have received the gift of Birthright Israel. Can everyone hear me? I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me all right. Give me a thumbs up, somebody. Great. Great.
Yeah.
So 500,000 people from around the world have gone on a Birthright trip, and this summer we'll start the road towards 1 million, and we'll get there much sooner than 16 years, because every year the program grows. So you've probably heard a lot of different names thrown around, right? So you've heard Birthright Israel, you've heard Teglit, you might have heard Birthright or Israel Outdoors already. So this is the explanation of what Birthright is, right? So Birthright Israel is the umbrella organization. They're the ones who actually provide the 10-day trips for 18 to 26-year-olds like yourself. And there are 3 main partners who fund the program. So that's the government of Israel, federations and philanthropists who give money directly to Birthright, and of course, there are Jewish communities around the world, like the Jewish community in Las Vegas. We fund the Birthright program, and then they give out the money to the trip organizers who make the trips actually happen. We are very lucky that in Las Vegas and in Nevada that the Jewish Federation sponsors Nevada-specific trips, 2 every summer. You, of course, are going to be going on those trips. The Jewish Federation has a lot of resources in the community and in Israel and all over the world, and we'll talk a little bit more about what the Jewish Federation does, and I hope that you will all stay involved with the Jewish Federation when you get back. Trip organizers make sure that your stay meets a minimum set of standards. There are a lot of different trip organizers. We're going with Israel Outdoors. They're very similar in what they do, but we like Israel Outdoors the best. So when you get ready to make your trip, maybe some of you are so excited you've already packed. Maybe some of you won't pack till the day before. I don't recommend that, but make sure that you don't leave home without your passport. Since you're all registered for the trip, you should all have valid passports that are valid for 6 months after your return date. But that's really important. Bring your passport to the airport. It has happened that that we have had participants show up to the airport without their passport, and there's nothing you can do. You're not leaving the country without a passport, so you get sent home, and then you have to pay for your plane ticket, and it's a terrible ordeal. So just remember, bring your passport. Also, bring a copy of your passport. I recommend not losing it while you're in Israel, but just in case you lose it and we have to take you to the embassy, it makes it a lot easier if you have your passport. If somebody new just got on the call, if you could mute your microphone, that would be great. Right, so bring a copy of your passport just in case. Bring any prescription medicine you need with you. Bring extra. Bring your health insurance card. Bring a copy of your prescription too, if you can. You should bring your credit or debit card, and then you should also bring cash. Now, it's a good idea to let your bank know that you are going to be out of the country. Give them a call, let them know, give them the dates, so that your card doesn't get turned off for suspicion of fraud while you are out of the country. It happens, and it's again terrible. So do the preparation before you go. 2 out of your 3 meals are provided by Birthright each day, but you are somewhat on your own for one of those meals. Usually it's lunch. So you want to bring enough money for 10 meals. You want to have enough money for souvenirs and gifts. I'm sure you will want to bring things home for your family. You might even want a drink at the end of the night, one night, so you'll want cash for that as well. So we recommend at least $250. If you want to bring home gifts, you'll know how much you want to spend on that. There are plenty of places to exchange the money once we're in Israel. You can do it at the airport. We can do it on the bus. A lot of places will even take American currency. So $250, $300 is probably a good idea in American money. Make sure to bring enough with you. We also are going to collect $70 from you at the airport in Los Angeles as a tip for the bus driver and tour guide. They make it a very special experience, and they make their living off of those tips. So $70. None of that money goes towards your American staff. That's only the bus driver and the tour guide. We will collect it at the airport, so make sure you have $70 when we get to LAX for us to collect. And then we'll have plenty of information to give you about the trip organizer and how to contact us. Make sure to keep that on you at all times. Both of our trips, your trip is leaving out of LAX? Great. So both of our trips, the June and July trips, are both leaving out of Los Angeles. You have to be at the airport in the international terminal, meeting us at least 4 hours before the scheduled departure. I know that sounds really early, but it takes a lot of effort to get a big group through security, and we cannot board until everyone in the group is there. So you have to be there at least 4 hours before your scheduled departure. You can get tickets on Southwest to LAX pretty cheap. I know that on the June trip, there is a flight landing about 5 hours before the flight to JFK leaves, and Southwest is great because you don't have to pay for your checked bag. Don't check in with your airline before you've checked in with us, with your staff people. You probably won't be able to anyway, and you won't be able to miss us, but just in case, don't try. Because you don't want to wait in line and then have to do it again. There is a 50-pound limit on checked bags, and we're going to take a minute to talk about what you need to pack and what you shouldn't pack in just a minute. But the weight limit is really important. The checked baggage has a strict 50-pound limit. You cannot pay the fee to go over that. If you are over 50 pounds, you will leave stuff in Los Angeles. And you're going to want to bring home gifts and souvenirs, and you're going to buy stuff for yourself and your friends and your family while you're there. So it's actually a good idea to be well under that 50-pound limit. You'll have one check bag. You'll have one carry-on. For your carry-on, go as small as possible. A backpack is great, and that way you can carry that around with you while we're in Israel. The other problem with the checked baggage is that is the bag that you will be putting on and off the bus every day while we're in Israel. And we are not staying at the same hotel more than 2 nights in a row, so you don't want to have to lift that in and out of the bus. And if we have any new people on the call, if you could just mute your microphone, that would be great. On each bus, we call these groups a bus because you're spending a lot of time on the bus. So there will be 40 North American participants. Most of you are from Las Vegas or have some kind of a connection to Las Vegas, but all of you are definitely from North America. Okay. Great. Sorry about that. So joining us, we will have a tour guide, and we will have ourselves, 2 North American staff. The entire time, we will be accompanied by a medic and a security guard, and then the bus driver. And then, this is really cool, we will be joined by 4 Israeli peers, so some people our age who are either students or serving in the Army. And this is a little bit of information about the Israeli peers. They're called the Mifgash. And they will be joining us, our trips. They get to join us for the entire time, which is pretty amazing. That doesn't usually happen. We got very lucky that we have someone who is sponsoring that from the community. So now we can talk a little bit about security and safety. Thankfully, there isn't too much to talk about here, right? Because Birthright, as a program, works very closely with the Israeli government to make sure that the security standards are extremely high and that everyone is safe the entire time that we're there. No effort or expense is ever spared to keep us safe. We will not be going to any areas that are deemed unsafe. We will not be going towards Gaza. We will not be nearing the West Bank. We will not be leaving the Jewish quarter of Jerusalem. And the final note on that is that of the 16 years that this program has been running, the 500,000 participants that have gone on Birthright, there has never been a security-related incident on a Birthright trip, which is pretty incredible. If you have any specific questions about security, we'll be happy to answer them. You can ask those offline at any time. And you'll see a little more information about that here. I guess one more note is that itineraries can and do change for a variety of reasons. Security is one of them, but more likely if the itinerary changes, it's because of weather or because another Birthright group is taking too long wherever they are. The bus that we will have is the same bus for the entire trip. The driver that we'll have is the same bus driver that we will have for the entire trip. The buses are air conditioned and have to meet a certain level of comfort and size. Public transportation, taxis, buses, never allowed, and you will not be leaving the group, so there really won't be an opportunity to take public transportation. Participants in the group are going to remain together, and we're going to stay on the schedule of activities. Private travel away from the group is not allowed and will not happen because if you leave the group, you're going to get sent back home, and we don't want to have to do that. You can, if you have family in Israel, you can have them visit you at the hotel, but only after programming has concluded, and you cannot leave the hotel with them. There are some times that we will have some free activities, some time for that in the marketplace in Tel Aviv, or maybe on Ben Yehuda Street in Jerusalem, and you'll get plenty of time for that. If you do want time away from the group, and you want to explore on your own, I highly recommend that, and I definitely think you should do that. And that means that you should extend your trip. It's really easy to do. It's pretty cheap, and it's totally worth it. Drug and alcohol policy is pretty easy. The drug policy is don't do them. No drugs at any time on the trip. This isn't our rule, but if you're caught with drugs, then it's Birthright's policy to first turn you over to the Israeli authorities and then send you back home. And you lose your deposit. You have to pay for your plane ticket back home. And the worst thing in the world is having to call your parents and ask them to Western Union you $2,000 so that you can fly home from Israel because you got caught with some pot. So please, at no time on the trip should drugs be involved. When you get home, go for it then. The alcohol policy is way better. So alcohol is allowed once programming has concluded at the end of the night. No packaged alcohol, but don't worry, all of the hotels and anywhere else that we're going to be staying will have a bar. There are a couple of nights that we ask you not to drink. We will have a pretty strenuous hike up Masada for your own benefit. You're not going to want to drink that night. But other than that, go for it. Don't get yourself sick. Be responsible and be mature. I'm sure that you all can do that, so we're not going to dwell on that any longer. Again, if you have any questions about it, about any of that, feel free to ask at the end of the program. So you will get a card that has the Birthright Israel 24-hour hotline on it. You should never have to call that number. If there is ever a problem, please contact your staff person, your tour guide. We are there to make sure that you have the best experience possible. So if anything is wrong or you have any concerns, please come to us first. If you get lost, we're going to have our cell phones on us 24/7, and you should too. Cell phone service is widely available throughout the country, and we recommend that you rent a cell phone, or maybe your cell phone works in Israel. Call your provider and find out. Take care of it before we leave on the trip, though. And you should get an email about renting a cell phone if you want to do that. This says that groups will sleep at guest houses on a kibbutz, hostels, small and medium-sized hotels, and we'll even spend a night under the stars at the Bedouin camp in the desert. So we definitely will not be in hostels, don't worry, but we will be in hotels for most of the time that we're there. It is 3-person rooms, and you will get to choose who you're rooming with. We don't want to infringe. So the Bedouins. Let's talk about the Bedouins for just a quick second. They are a semi-nomadic people who live in Israel of Arabic descent. And we will be spending a night with them at their camp. It is one of the most fun nights of the trip, and don't worry, it's not really roughing it because all of the standards for all of the hotels and even for the Bedouin tents is pretty high, although small. So real quickly, we'll run through a sample itinerary just to give you an idea of what you'll be doing, of what we'll be doing as a group. But the June trip, our trip, Sarah and my group, you should have already received your itinerary. The travel times were wrong, so they will be updated. And if you're on the July trip, you should be receiving your itinerary pretty soon. So day one is your arrival at Ben Gurion Airport. You have only gotten to this point if you have shown up to the airport with your passport. Please don't forget that in Los Angeles, you need your passport. We make a big deal out of it because it has happened before. So make sure that you bring your passport, and like that you don't grab your brother's at the last second or something. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. The travel times are set, but the times on the itinerary that you got for June are wrong, but they're being updated. So there aren't new times for June. Correct. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah. Okay.
Great. The plane lands at Ben Gurion International Airport. That's the only major airport in Israel. You'll go through passport control. You'll pick up your luggage. We do all of those things as a group, and then we hit the bus. And we go to Tel Aviv, which is a beautiful modern city on the Mediterranean Sea. There are beaches. We'll spend some time at the beach. There are some really historic sites. There are major companies who have research and development firm divisions there. Microsoft and Google and Apple all have offices in Tel Aviv. It's a really cool city, very cool place. We'll have lots of time to explore that. We'll stop at Independence Hall, where the country was founded. Then next day, we'll go to Jerusalem. We'll see the Western Wall. We'll explore the Old City. These are stones that are 3,000 plus years old. It's really incredible. We'll explore the Mediterranean coast. We'll go up to Svat, which is the home of Jewish mysticism and Jewish spiritualism. It's a vibrant artist community there. It's a really, really cool little town. We'll go down the Jordan River in kayaks, and that is a lot of fun and is a nice little way to cool off. We'll be doing lots of hikes, just about probably every other day. We'll be going on a hike. We're going to see some really incredibly beautiful scenery. We'll spend some time in Jerusalem for Shabbat, and we'll have some fun meals. Oh, we're going to ride camels. That's pretty exciting. They're a lot of fun, and the mileage is pretty good. Bumpy ride. The Bedouin tent will probably be your favorite night. Look forward to it, and probably one of the best meals that you're going to have. But we want to ensure you the food is going to be really, really good. The breakfasts at the hotels are great. The dinners are great. The falafel stands that you're going to eat at for lunch are just amazing. There is nothing like it. We'll go up Masada at sunrise and get to see the Dead Sea. Then we'll go to the Dead Sea, and the Dead Sea is kind of crazy because you float in it. It's super salty water, and you don't swim, you just float. It's really incredible. Don't get that water into your eyes or into any open cuts because it'll burn. It's super salty. We'll visit the National Cemetery of Israel and the Holocaust Museum, Yad Vashem. And after all that, we'll be back at the airport, ready to come home. And you should definitely, you're not going to want to go home at this point. You're going to want to stay, and you're not going to be able to. So extend your trip. If you want to do it, if you're even thinking about it, do it now. This is the time to do it. Okay, so let's talk about again. That should have been in your pre-trip 1 email, how to extend, but if not, it'll definitely be in the second one, which you will receive any day now. And let's hold questions till the end. I promise we will get to them. We're almost done here. So let's talk about what to pack. I will let you probably heard my voice enough, so I will let Sarah take over from here.
All right, so anything that you are going to pack, again, you have to be able to carry in your suitcase, and your suitcase has to be no more than 50 pounds. There is no place to do laundry, so make sure you pack a lot of underwear and socks because you'll change them a couple times a day. If you need extra contacts or glasses, I hope you change them a couple times a day. Extra contacts or glasses. Bathing suits, 2 is probably fine. If they are your absolute favorite bathing suits, try to not choose them to bring. The Dead Sea is salty and can be kind of nasty with fabric. As far as pants and long sleeves, you don't really need, not for the summer. You may want to bring a light sweatshirt just for the Bedouin tent nights. Water shoes if you feel like you need them when we go kayaking. Shabbat clothing is actually really important, especially on the June trip. We will have 2 Shabbats while we're there. You don't need to bring fancy clothes, but you do want it to be a little bit nicer than what you're obviously hiking in throughout the day. Girls, you want to make sure that you have modest clothing, something that will cover your knees and cover your elbows. Maxi dresses are great. Same thing for when we are in Svat and when we're at the wall in Jerusalem. Both places require a little bit more modesty. Make sure you bring shoes that are comfortable for hiking and walking long distances, and maybe a pair of flip-flops. Don't go crazy with the shoes. Even on our nights out, girls, you're not going to want to wear heels. No one in Israel really wears them. Even at the nicest place that we went to, you have a nice outfit and you're in your flip-flops, so don't pack them. The streets are also cobbly. You'll fall, and Andrew and I will laugh at you. Make sure you have everything you need for hiking: hats, sunglasses, sunscreen. Definitely sunscreen. The sun is different, and if you're burnt on day 1, it's going to be really, really crappy on day 3. All of your toiletries, you want to make sure that you bring shampoos and soaps and lotions, things like that. Not every place has. Let's see, what else? You want to bring an appropriate plug for Europe, so you'll need to get a converter. If you're using anything with voltage, converting your voltage, you'll want to look at that as well. So check the voltage on all of your products. You may need a converter as well as a changing plug. Some things not to bring. Again, super fancy clothes, heels, don't need to bring. Blow dryers, straighteners, curling irons really don't need to bring. They're also sort of risky to use even with the voltage converter. And if you blow power in one of the hotels, which has happened before, and I have to stand outside of my pajamas, that will also suck.
And that's not a joke, by the way. My first time staffing, a girl from a different trip blew out the power in the entire hotel from her hairdryer, and we had to wait outside until the power came back on, and it was a really terrible experience. So you probably don't even need your hairdryer.
Yeah, you will be natural during the time that you're there. It's fine. We will all survive together without makeup. Couple of things are fine to get ready for Shabbat, but really don't overdo it. It's going to be harder to use.
Yeah, so let's just talk about for 1 second what not to bring. You don't need your computer. You don't need your laptop. You don't need your iPad. You don't need any...
You'll survive.
Any expensive electronics at all. Your phone is about all you will need. You won't have time to use it, and you won't want to. And
Wi-Fi is spotty, so you're not always going to have Wi-Fi to even use any of those devices, and every single person in the hotel is trying to use the same Wi-Fi, so don't really count on that.
I'm sorry to go back to this, but I do just want to clear something up. So the flights that everyone got, the times, the dates, those are not changing. They are confirmed. They are what they are. If you're on the June trip and you opened your itinerary from the pre-trip email, those times didn't match up. So that is going to get fixed before we go. But the flight numbers, the flight times, dates, all of that is staying the same. So didn't mean to scare anybody. And if you have any questions about that, we can chat about it offline.
Pack a towel. You'll want to bring your own towel. That is helpful. And you also want to bring some type of backpack as your carry-on, something that you can use to carry water, hat, things like that, if you're not using them at the time but will need to later on in the day. You may also want to bring something to carry water. So you will have the option to purchase water everywhere you are. If you want to do that, great. Sometimes it gets expensive. I bring a Camelback. So if you want to bring something like that, that would be really helpful for the hikes, your own water bottle that you can fill up as we go around. I see people asking about vapes. Like if you have something that's going to break, if you have something that's big and heavy, and I've seen small ones, I've seen big ones that look like boxes, you'll have chances for smoke breaks, but we're not anywhere that you couldn't smoke a cigarette. You're not going to be able to use a vape. So just pack appropriately and be conscious. You bring your big old vape, like that's just not going to work.
Yeah, actually, as far as I know, vapes are not allowed on the trips. I can check that out for you for anyone who's like really interested. But as far as I know, that has always been a prohibited item. Everyone in Israel smokes cigarettes, so if that's a concern for you, just you'll be fine. So here's some more information about extending. It is dependent on what is available from the airline. The extension is usually for a maximum of 90 days, and then there are some fees associated with it, but it is pretty cheap. I know for our flight in June, it was only $250, and totally worth it. And again, you will get an email with information about how to extend if you haven't done that already.
And you will need to find your own place to stay. I saw that question run through the chat. Once we leave for the airport, and Andrew and I actually will not be with you. We are extending in Israel. We are super excited. But once that bus leaves to go to the airport to take you guys home, you are on your own. So if you choose to extend the second that bus is gone, you are free to do your own thing. You have to make all of your arrangements, and that will be completely independent. The Bedouin tents are not like a hotel. It is, actually, I'd rather you just experience it for yourself.
Yeah, but we will
It's
be
amazing.
we will be
You will be
sleeping in
fine.
the group. It's a lot of fun. And if you have any questions, now is the time. We'd love to answer them.
Now no one has questions.
Yeah, I saw all of you typing us questions during the
Questions is my favorite part.
Yeah.
Wine tasting in Behuda Street.
Will there be options for dietary restrictions? Okay, so the country is kosher. So what you will find is you are limited to whether they are serving dairy or meat in the hotel. Lunch, again, is on your own, so you'll be able to find what you need. Breakfast is usually dairy. Dinner is usually meat. If you have specific dietary restrictions, allergies, things like that, please let us know. So if we need to do anything special for that, we can. You can sleep wherever you want when you're off the Birthright trip. When you are on the Birthright trip, you will be sleeping with 2 other people of the same gender in whatever hotel we are staying in. You'll have free time in the evenings after programming, and there'll be some days where if we are in the Shuk or the market, you'll have a certain amount of time on your own with parameters of where you can travel. But that's why we really encourage extension, because if you want free time, that's the only real way to get it. You can extend for as much or as little time as you are comfortable paying for. 90 days is the maximum in the country.
And it's based on availability from the airline. So, and then if you do want to extend, you just go to the airport with the group, and then you're good to go from there. You don't have to get on the plane.
The PowerPoint is accessible. We will send out an email with kind of a summary of all of this, and the links will be attached there. There are 40 people on each trip. That does not include the Israeli peers that we will be getting. Oh, yes, you can sleep next to, oh, no, they did change that rule, actually. I mean, I don't care. You can sleep wherever you need to in your Bedouin tent. That's fine. I snuggle next to Andrew.
Your backpack and your carry-on is the same thing, and for most of the trip, you'll be deciding who you room with. Your adults, you can figure it out.
Contact Gil Travel.
We already extended a history of the airport to the group, or you can just do our destination.
Yeah, you got to go to the airport, and then you can leave the group at that point.
All 40 all the time. We will split into small groups for different activities, but we are not meshing with Birthright groups. When we are places like the market, you can choose to have lunch with, the people that you're close with. You'll be able to break off, but for the most part, it is all of us programming all the time.
You will not be able to run in the morning.
You don't need to run in the morning.
You don't want to. You're going to be waking up very early. This is going to be a very physical trip. We're going to be hiking almost every day, and
I don't get tired.
Running in the morning would entail leaving the group, which you won't be doing.
You actually cannot stop in Europe. As far as we've been informed, they set up your return flight. They told us we couldn't stop at a destination in between.
Right. So you can go to Europe, go back to Israel, and then leave from Israel. You can go anywhere you want to, but you have to leave from Israel, and you have to take the Israel to...
Right, sorry, they will not change your flights to go to another destination. The group will wake up at different times throughout. It will always be early. It may be early as 6 a.m. It may be early as 3 a.m. for when we hike up Masada. But it will be early mornings and late nights. So the nights that we go out, we all go out together. So there will be a time where you're expected to meet back with the group for us to return to the hotel. And when programming is over, you are free to stay awake as long as you feel you need to and still function the next day. You just can't leave the hotel. So the trip for June.
Yeah, so it is, so there are two trips on this call. June 15th. June 15th is leaving at 1:45 on June 15th and is arriving back June 25th.
We leave the 26th at 12:55 a.m.
Right. And then the other group is leaving July 4th and returning July 14th. Great. So
nap time. Nap time is going to be the second your behind sits your seat on the bus until the bus drives to where we are going next. So sleep when you can. Mute your microphone. Yeah, they're going to get used to that. So, yeah, nap time will be whenever you can through programming on the bus.
All right. Any other questions?
Yes, bring a camera. Definitely. Now, I prefer the iPhone. I think the iPhone takes better pictures. But if you have a really nice camera that works for you, definitely bring it. And you can carry that with you wherever we go. We have a group Facebook page, so that Andrew sent that out in one of the emails, and that will also be in the summary email that I'm sending out, if that's what you mean. And then any pictures that we take as staff leaders, we will make sure to post on that page, and we will take a million pictures for you guys, so you have things even when you are enjoying yourselves, and we'll make sure that all of that's connected to our group Facebook page. Kai, as far as traveling outside of Israel, so the answer for that is you are able to go wherever you want to go on your extension. However, they will not change where you're flying from. So you have to make it back to Israel to get your return flight.
All right, so we're at an hour now, and I don't want to keep you waiting. I see that there are some more questions coming in. So if you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact us offline. We're really happy to answer these questions. You have our email and phone numbers, and we are really excited to be joining you on this trip. We're really fortunate that we get that experience, and we will see you very soon. If you're on the June trip, less than 2 weeks. This time, 2 weeks from now, we will be on.
Or a month.
We will be on Delta Flight 2262 to Tel Aviv. Okay. We'll talk to you soon. Any more questions, please email or call us or text us, whatever you're most comfortable with. Don't forget your passports.